Welcome to the Felt Dyslexic Artist Interview. My name is Liz Buckridge. For me, as a dyslexic artist, other artists and creatives have always been my number one inspiration. In these interviews, we talk with artists and creatives who share their stories and we gain insight into their process from inspiration to art tips, career building, and more. We're so lucky to listen to the wisdom of Lou Boyer today. I'm so excited to hear about their past and future projects and share insight on life as an artist. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for talking with us today.
Of course.
I'm going to jump right in. So, describe the art you make. What medium do you primarily work in, and why do you choose that medium?
I'm primarily a digital artist. I've been painting in Photoshop since before it was like fully folded into Adobe. And that was partially because in high school I did I think it's called like a tech program where it was for graphic design, except for the teacher was so old, we was mostly doing like print stuff, which I love. I love learning other mediums and how it interacts with things, but I taught myself how to paint in Photoshop and I've been too stubborn to learn anything else pretty much. But lately I've been doing a lot of acrylics as well. Yeah.
Do you work in any other mediums?
Well, acrylics. So I do a lot of canvas painting with acrylics, and I've been trying to do little bits of other mediums just because I think it helps your process to think about art in a completely different way. I've been trying to find woodworking class for a while now because I think I would like that a lot. But I did used to do it when I was little. My dad had a workshop, so that'd be fun.
I love that. How did you get into making art? Can you tell us about your background and how you first became interested in art?
Yeah. Um, I have very bad ADHD, so I constantly needed something to do with my hands. And it always just became what I would do while listening to teachers ever since as far as I can remember. There's notes in my like teacher reviews that are just like, won't stop drawing. And so it's literally always just been forever. As long as I can hold something, I've been drawing.
Yeah, I get it. How did you get into your specific style? Yeah, we'll start there.
Okay. Um, Over time, I think just looking at people that I look up to and then kind of honing what I liked about them and figuring out what works with my hands because I've also got physical disability. So that plays into, I think it plays into my style in that it's literally a physical limitation sometimes, but also I work fast because of the ADHD. And so that helps me do a lot of things that people think is either strange or that they couldn't do. Um, just the other day, I was talking to someone about how they couldn't get acrylics to blend the way that I do, and it's just because I work fast. So,
So what themes or subjects inspire your work?
um, anything that catches my interest, but a lot of the more big emotional pieces that I do have a lot to do with disability, both physical and mental, um, and the intersection of like chronic pain as well as like depression, anxiety, and that kind of thing as well. Um, Strong emotions produce art.
There you go. Do you consider yourself neurodivergent or neurotypical?
Definitely neurodivergent.
Okay. Well, have you faced any challenges or setbacks in your art career, and how did you overcome them?
A lot of the setbacks that I find myself dealing with are a lot of the strict deadlines that come with a lot of like in-person galleries or shows and things like that. I always have a hard time doing multi-step processes. And I know that comes from my neurodivergence. So that is definitely the hard thing. And I think just keeping lots of notes has been the thing that's been my saving grace. Google Docs on Google Docs on Google Docs, spreadsheets, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Gloucester, Rhode Island, middle of nowhere in the woods. And then I went to school in Cranston, Rhode Island, which is also where I live now. But then I spent a year in Georgia. I spent a year in Jersey City, um, and found my way back to Rhode Island.
Wow. Did you do art when you were a little kid?
Very much so. Couldn't stop me from doing it.
What mediums did you like when you were really little? Do you remember?
When I was really little, I know I liked a lot of pottery because of just the feel of the texture. I'm sure it was a sensory thing, but also just mechanical pencil and copy paper. I would just fill pages and pages and pages with a bunch of different things, a lot of like comic looking things and a lot of different, I'm sure it was anime as well, but
Oh,
lots of differences.
that's fun. Do you have a favorite colorway or palette for your art? And is the color for your art different or the same as the colors in your house?
I know use a lot of magenta and teal in my art. I also have it in some of my tattoos as well. It's a common theme, but it is very different from my house. My house is a lot more like autumnal and jewel tones, things like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Can you describe the space where you make your art?
Hmm. I have a cluttered little desk that I have my two monitors over here for my computer and often have my laptop to the side. It's usually a lot of little fairy lights and things like that, and it's organized chaos is what I like to call it for when I'm working digitally. Um, and if I'm working with traditional medium like the acrylic stuff, that is just wherever I happen to find myself. I love to go out and paint in the middle of the woods, even if I'm not painting a landscape. I just think it's very relaxing and nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Hmm.
How did your school system support your interest in art growing up?
Uh, I don't know if support is the right word. I went to a public school growing up, and there wasn't a lot for arts other than just like the traditional art class. And even in that, I don't think my teacher understood neurodivergence at all. So whenever I tried, not tried to, but whenever I veered off the track, it ended up being sort of a clash thing rather than a helpful, supportive thing. I remember very vividly in fifth grade, my teacher once said, "You shouldn't ever pursue a career in art. It's just not your thing." And well, here I am now.
Oh, hmm. How do you see your work evolving or changing in the future? What do you have planned?
I am enjoying sort of transitioning more towards traditional medium and trying to get it to a point where it's as technically good as my digital art. Because I do a lot of portraiture and I do a lot of like physical people and concept art on digital. But with paintings, it's a whole different mindset because you don't get those undo buttons, you don't get layers unless you're doing things with like isolation. Um, but it's a very interesting transition, and I really do enjoy the emotional release that traditional media gives you that digital just doesn't always.
Hmm. I love that. Well, I guess this leads right into this question. Is making art an emotional process for you or strategic?
It's definitely an emotional one for me. I work my best and my fastest when I have a big inspiration or a big idea. Sometimes I'll complete a whole piece in a matter of like 2 or 3 hours, where other times, if it's like something I have to do for a commission, it might take a little bit longer because I'm meandering around. But the more passion is in it, the better the art, definitely.
Hmm. So can you walk us through your creative process from idea to finished piece?
Okay. Generally, if I'm doing digital work, it will. start with either the inspiration or I do a lot of commission work. Um, so I will gather a bunch of inspiration images, styles that I like, and create a little board. Sometimes I'll use either like Canva or Pinterest. Those tend to be the two ones that are easiest to bring a bunch of images together. And then I'll work out a few thumbnail sketches and then figure out the posing and everything that I like the most, make it a lot bigger, and then start in on line arts, then color, and then full rendering over top.
Wow. Um, how do you combine the art you love to make and the art you sell?
I think the intersection of those two things is one of my biggest hobbies, which is the tabletop role-playing game Dungeons and Dragons, because I love doing fantasy things and concept art. So other people want to see their characters that they have made in a way that looks more like the things you'd see in the books. So that is, I think, where I get to sell things that I also enjoy making a lot.
Wow, that's very cool. So how do people find your art to purchase? Do you have a website or okay?
I have a Tumblr, I have a Blue Sky, and I'm working on building a Shopify. I have my own website as well, but it needs a lot of updating. And I can give you the links to those if that's, or would you like me to say those?
You can say them
All
and
right.
we'll put the links in too.
Yeah.
Show notes.
It's Skip to My, as in Skip to My Lou, on Tumblr and Blue Sky. And I'm hoping that I can also get that for my Shopify account.
That's cool. That's clever.
Yeah.
So can you share a recent project or piece of work that you're particularly happy about?
Um, as in talk about it, or do you want me to like, I don't have physical media with me right
Yeah,
now.
just talk about it.
So okay, yeah. Recently, the beginning of summer, I had a really bad flare up for my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and it was getting to the point where I couldn't get out of bed very well, like more than a couple hours a day. And when I finally started to get out of the other side of it, I made this piece that was a lot different than other pieces that I've done. I had a much more loose painterly feel to it rather than sort of the very finely rendered portraits and things that I do. And it was very emotional, and it was basically a self-portrait where there were red thorns going around all of the joints, and the back spine was basically cracked open with these big rose bushes, and the feeling of being watched while dealing with chronic pain created this art piece, and it's my favorite thing I've made in a while.
Wow. How do you stay motivated as an artist?
um Generally, I look for the details in whatever I'm working on that I appreciate the most. I can find beauty in most things. And when I'm working on different art pieces, especially with like commissions, I'll find the pieces that I would be excited about if it was my character or my thing that I wanted to do. And I'll kind of work on those specifically and then go outward from there.
Yeah, cool. Um, are there any artists or creatives who have influenced or inspired your work?
Definitely. JC Leyendecker, uh, Gustav Klimt, and Mike Mignola. No, this third one is a comic artist. He did Hellboy. And yeah, I know there's another question further about books and stuff, but
Yeah. Um, so what advice would you give to an aspiring artist looking to pursue a career in the arts?
make it not good first. You can make it better later. You just have to start, and you just have to keep on going and working through the phases where you think it looks bad, because that's the first step to getting good at where you want to be.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice. Um, What is your favorite book, movie, song, podcast?
So like I was saying, Mike Mignola's Hellboy, the series, meant a lot to me growing up because it was about a misfit. It was about someone who definitely would be categorized as neurodivergent if they were like a real human. But it's also a story about found family and mythology, which is just a huge inspiration to me. Um, Other than that, music-wise, I listen to a lot of indie folk stuff. Um, my roommate Chan just produced an album. He did, he's done three of them, but like this, he is generally one of my favorite artists ever, Chan the Human. His whole new album is about like producing art and where it interacts with yourself. And although it's new, I want to say that's probably one of my favorite things right now. So I guess that as well.
That's cool. What about so is that the book and the movie?
That would be the book and music.
Okay, so movie.
Movie would probably be the movie Penelope. It's kind of a kid's movie, but it's a very good story. And I love the intersection of fantasy and comedy.
Cool. Do you listen to podcasts?
I do. I just listened to my brother and me on the way down. I love them. I love Critical Role. I love a bunch of D&D podcasts because it's really interesting to see how different groups of people play one structured game that can be so varied. And it's always just beautiful, creative stories. So it's great to listen to.
Is there a book that you recommend over and over again that's different than your favorite?
Um, I want to say Hero by Perry Moore. Um, I remember it just being one of the first books that I stayed up a whole night to read. It's definitely like uh young adult fiction, but it's like superheroes and it's a very interesting take on the genre, and I really, really liked it a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about that I didn't ask?
Um, I am very excited that I'm starting to go to conventions and crafts fairs. And I finally got like my whole setup. I actually just did one on Saturday, up in Pasco, and I'm starting to do a bunch of them more. I got a bunch of them coming up in Providence. And I'm hoping to hone in on LGBT stuff, as well as trying to find more spaces where disability and art come together. So, yeah, that's all I could think of.
That's cool. I love that. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for talking with us today. I was going to say letting us into your studio, but we're at our house. And all my merch from Felt Dyslexic, who designed the loon. So thank you for that
Thank
too.
you. I mean, I just digitized it. It was mostly your design, so
I still love it. Well, I felt inspired for sure. I can't wait to look up all the different people that you mentioned
yeah.
and see more of your work.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Much love. And we'll see you next time. Yay.